Alright, so you might be wondering, who the hell is this and why should I be listening to them? Well, without sounding too much like a dating profile or one of those contestants on one of those bad reality shows, my name's Fishad. I'm 38 at the time of speaking, and I'm a mindset transformer with my own brand, Inner Peace Walker. Career wise, I spent my professional career in the world of investment banking operations in the self-professed world's biggest investment bank up until my early 30s, when I grew disillusioned with it and I realised I didn't want to be the next director, MD, whatever inflated corporate title you can think of, especially given how much the role involved from a physical, mental and emotional perspective, and also having been burnt out by the fact that doing your job just wasn't enough anymore. You always had to be seen to be doing a project, a process initiative, something on top of your job. And at the same time, I was struggling with things like my singledom and social anxiety. So all in all, I felt a sense of feeling lost, unfulfilled and stuck, and not knowing where to head next. So I looked into becoming a coach as a new opportunity after the end of my first role. And it struck me as an opportunity to work for myself, help people, and make a difference. And also utilize my natural capacity to listen, talk through issues with people. So after taking some time out for a family home renovation project and giving financial contracting a go, I revisited the opportunity and ended up finding my ideal coach. Now, I found him through a curious quirk of the universe, you might say, but that's another story for another time. But essentially, through his coaching program, I was able to first orientate and reconcile myself as to who I am and where feelings of low self-worth stem from. And then from there, we worked to recognize what practical and human needs I wasn't fulfilling, confront what I hated, and recognizing the practical steps to take to fulfilling my needs in a more healthier way. All of which to rebuild your self-worth to a position where you can then build your path to your inner peace. You see, when we feel good enough, it acts as a catalyst to repair and solve other areas of your life that have previously weighed you down. So that's like a succinct summary of what I look to do now and what I offer the world of healing. Now, for those of you that like a headline statement or a I help statement, well, I'll give you two forms. The short form says, when it comes to mindset, everyone's a bit fucked. And I help you understand how to unfuck yourself. You see, often we feel fucked, but don't know what to do about it. And that's what I'm here to help you out with. And the longer form of that sentence is, I help you reconcile and overcome feelings of low self-worth without just accentuating the positives, letting you forge and define your own inner peace. You see, we reconcile first because we might not even know we've got feelings of low self-worth in the first place. And not just accentuating the positives is the key difference between me and a lot of other people in the self-development world. Because things like being positive all the time and ignoring or flipping negative emotions can work in isolation, but often they don't stick. And you're left stuck in the same patterns and can't really work out why. So together we go into your goals or issues or challenges and see them for what they really are. And that's the distinction between my approach and a lot of other self-help people. We don't fixate on just one goal and throw high-level superficial words at it. We look beyond and end up resolving and achieving goals and targets without explicitly targeting them. Now, it's not magic, it's not trickery, it's just we haven't practiced this kind of thing enough in our lives so far. And that's why I call it the guaranteed treasure hunt. Your treasure is there, and if you don't find it, we just keep digging. So in a sense, I call it mind mining. You know, we both go digging and picking to find your answers. So all this acts as a platform to let you forge and define your own inner peace. Now, that definition of inner peace is made by you. It could be something big like finding a life partner or a weight-related goal, or it's just something small like developing the ability to define and defend your boundaries. That's why I say it's up to you. As is the work and progress, is all going to be about you. It starts from a place of your choice. And I make the point that I don't give a fuck what neat demographic or niche other people would have you fit in. You know, others are welcome to have their own take and perspective on who they work with and who will best get the results from them. And good luck to them. I'm not here to say that they're right or I'm right and they're wrong. I'm here to say that this is what I offer. I make a point of saying this work is not for everyone, because that's neither true or realistic. It's for anyone that reads or hears what I offer or my story and goes, oh shit, that's me, and has that spark of curiosity coming up in them and then wanting to find out more about it. So in terms of logistics of what I do, well, our path building journey begins with a look at how we currently deal with emotions in what I call Emotions 101. Now, Emotions 101 is where we go back to basics and look at our current behaviours, thoughts and patterns that obstruct us and see where they come from. In other words, how did we become that fucked up in the first place? And why do we seem stuck in the same patterns and loops? So this involves things like challenging our definitions of trauma and emotions, as well as revisiting the stories we tell ourselves and ask what actually happened, so that we can ascertain different conclusions and interpretations from them, and ones that will make us stick to the changes that we're trying to make. And even if they don't stick, to accept and be comfortable with this. The unique perspective that I offer here is that there's one root cause no matter where you start from, and that root cause is that you don't feel good enough. Now, other coaches would call this a limiting belief, and it is. But the reason I hold this cause in such prominence is that it reaches into just about every facet of our lives. So immediately, you have full control of the process by determining where we start from and where we go. From here, we launch into the core process of the work, which is construct, deconstruct, reconstruct. Construct is where we use the framework of a cast of multiple personalities to help build a picture of who and what you're comprised of, personality and characters wise. Deconstruct is where we ascertain the human and practical needs that each character fulfills for you, either consciously or unconsciously, and whether you like or dislike them. We sidestep into purgatory, where we shine light on our shadow and look to accept and love those parts for what they've done for us in our lives so far. We then start to realise change in reconstruct by examining alternative ways that you can serve the needs that the characters you dislike have fulfilled in your life so far, thus getting the original version of ourselves more prominent in our lives, which raises our self-worth. And when we do that, we begin to see our symptoms that we were fixated on in the first place, like finding a changing career or a new relationship, or being less depressed, start to resolve themselves without explicitly addressing them. The state of high self-worth is the base from which you will build your path to your inner peace from. Now, I use the words you and your because everyone's path is unique. I'm not going to tell you to do this or do that. That's up to you. See, the beauty now is when you change your mind along the way, you'll feel that that's okay, instead of just beating yourself up for not sticking to the original goal or path in the first place. So in that regard, I help you break that cycle or maze of just going after goal in the hope of stumbling across the one that makes you happy and leaves you satisfied, and begin to do things on your own terms. So, alongside this flagship process, I've written a book called Your Answers Are in Your Shadow, which is all about shadow work, what it is, how you do it, and why you do it. And all inspired by the film The Batman, which came out last year. I also have an online course and second book detailing the flagship process in the works at the moment, to help diversify the means to deliver this work to as many people as possible. So, why do I do this? I mentioned earlier that my transition from investment banking operations lead specialist, and yes, that was my title, to mindset transformer struck me as an opportunity to work for myself, help people and make a difference, and utilise my natural capacity to listen and talk through issues. Even then, before I made this transition and was talking to Paul, who's my coach, in the discovery call on Zoom, I said to him, I just want to find out more about being a coach because I think I might want to be one. And he looked at me through the camera and said, you say you want to be a coach, but I don't believe you. So then my face went into a kind of, well, what do you mean kind of look? And this is when he introduced me to the concept of people thinking that a certain goal or outcome is what they want. But via the work with him, we'd look underneath as to what was driving that goal. You know, why did I want to become a coach? What was the root cause? And what followed in our time together was that we didn't even mention how to be a coach, what to do, etc., what it involves at any point, but instead to have the courage and want to ask the difficult questions of myself and to look at aspects of my life, like my struggles with singledom, from a new perspective. You know, what I actually thought about it and realising things that I might have overlooked in order to find the answers within. I found it remarkable that not even starting off with just wanting to find out more about coaching led to me discovering a lithe, unique process that on the face of it was nothing new, but at the same time delivered in a way I hadn't heard before. From introducing others to it, they echo the same sentiments and have been given many light bulb moments in their lives. So in a roundabout way, I'm trying to say I do this to try and show others the same possibilities that can be had from this work like I experienced. So if you're watching this, you might be sitting there thinking, well, I've tried different ways to get over whatever it is that you feel or is an obstacle and sense that there's no hope or that you just give up easily. I'm here to tell you that there is another way than just half-heartedly going after goals. Or if it does turn out that after the work you do with me, you still want to go after a particular goal, that you can do so armed with the knowledge that the process gave you of not holding your self-worth to ransom against it. Hence why I say it caters for a change of mind, which we're all prone to having. It won't be easy, but it is simple. And not everyone wants to build and walk the path, which is okay. You know, actually an outcome of this work is you can change your life just by fully understanding why you do the things you do and accepting them for what they are. See, doing that in itself can help you to give yourself inner peace and contentment. The simple reality is, often our lack of inner peace comes from the fact that we're constantly bullshitting ourselves and other people about who we really are and what we really want. Learning about those things and cutting out the bullshit can work out wonders by itself. But if you sense you want to make changes and are willing to put the work in, who knows where your path can take you. So, for example, if you realise you only live in the place you currently do because you're actually frightened of what life might look like if you took the chance to move, then rather than blaming it on other people like you might have done before, you can just take ownership of your decision and acknowledge that you would move to a better place, but you're too afraid to do it. Now, like I said before, I can't tell you what to do, only you can decide, and you must do what's right for you. I can't change the world, I can only change myself, and ask whether you're willing to do what it takes to change yourself. I can ask if you're willing to be brave enough to change, because that's what this really is. It's an adventure, your adventure. And what I might not have said enough is how much courage it takes to begin your quest and your path building, and how much more courage it takes to see it through, even when the days are dark and shit and it feels like things are getting worse or harder before they get better. Now that's why I say this work is simple but not easy, because if it was simple then everyone would do it. And things do often get worse before they get better, because that's just the way hero stories go. So I'd like you to decide whether or not to start your path building and hero journey, because only you can choose whether it's time for you or not. You already have the answers. I'll end this by saying be kind to yourself and feel supersonic.